Today is Wednesday, Parashat Yitro. Beginning of the Parashah tells us, Vayishma Yitro Chohen Midyan. Yitro was the high priest in Midyan. He heard what? And he was, by the way, Choten Moshe. He was the father-in-law of Moshe. He heard Et Kol Asher Asa Elohim LeMoshe U'Yisrael. Everything that Hashem did for Moshe and for his nation, for the Jewish people. Ki Hotzi Adonai et Yisrael miMitzrayim. He heard that the great miracles that Hashem took the Jewish people out of Egypt. And Rashi tells us, Vayishma Yitro, what did he hear? He heard about Kriyat Yam Suf, the parting of the Red Sea, Milchemet Amalek, the war of Amalek, and came and he joined the Jewish people. And according to tradition, he converted. But here there is a very important aspect of this pasuk to understand. First of all, it tells us that he was a high priest. He was a person who had worshipped idols for all his life up to this point. He was a high priest of idolatry. Yet, he had the strength of character to realize that up to this point, whatever he did was wrong. And he came and joined the Jewish people and converted to Judaism. And it takes much strength of character to, once you realize that the course of action that you've taken for many years was the wrong course of action, to then take action and switch direction takes strength of character to be able to do that. But also the first word, Vayishma, of the Parashah. And Yitro heard. In truth, there is no equivalent in English for the verb in Hebrew, lishmoa, which means to hear. But it's a lot more than hearing, because we have Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, Vayem Shamoa Tishmeu, Vayishma Yitro. It's a lot more than just hearing or listening. It's actually paying attention, to heed, to absorb, even to take action based on what you heard, not to stay aloof. Because there were many people that heard about the great miracles that Hashem did for the Jewish people. But they just heard it as something that happened. When Yitro heard about the great miracles and he understood, to hear is also to understand. Like sometimes in the Gemara, no shamati, in other words, I didn't hear that. I didn't agree with it. So like Nishmoa is to accept, not only to hear and to listen, but to internalize and to accept. So the greatness of Yitro is he took action based on what he became aware of. Unfortunately, many times people, they hear, they know things that are going on. They heard something, but they don't take action. They just stay aloof. Here, that was the greatness of Yitro, that he was willing to admit fault all the years that he worshipped idols, to realize, based on what he heard, what is the right path to take, and he did take it. And many times people know things that are wrong, but they continue to do them, rather than to take action and to switch course, as Yitro did. Another thing also that Yitro is famous for in the Parashah of this week, he noticed that Moshe Rabbeinu had all the court cases and everything on his shoulders, and he was too much of a task. He was overtasked. He was overwhelmed by all the things that he had to take care of dealing with, adjudicating different cases. And what Yitro suggested to him is delegation of responsibility to organize lower courts so that they can deal with the small little matters. Not only the most complicated cases, they would refer up to a higher court all the way to Moshe Rabbeinu. And that idea of delegation of responsibility is an important way to manage, whether it is a large corporation, an organization, or in general. And in the case of Moshe Rabbeinu, it was a whole nation that was on his shoulders by delegating responsibility. And that was an advice of Yitro, his father-in-law, when he noticed certain things that needed to be improved in the way that Moshe Rabbeinu was taking care of his nation. And these are some of the lessons of the Parashah of this week. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.